always inspiring to meet founders and to hear about startup ideas. I think I've heard a lot of pitches in my previous role, and it's amazing that you keep hearing new innovative ideas and meeting really inspiring, highly motivated, highly talented founders who could have an easy life, but they've chosen to try and change the world in some way. But when you hear the initial idea, it always sounds like this is great, it should be a sure thing, but we know that it's not that easy. And so I think that the really enlightening part is trying to figure out where are the real questions to test this solution. Why is it that it sounds great, but what's going to help it actually have an impact in the market and get that reach? What could be the blockers there? And I think it's a bit of a puzzle to try and work that out, what the potential pitfalls could be, and that's where then hopefully you can add that value afterwards.
Like we always tell people, whenever you have a big idea, you have to start small and MVP. Yes, we know how much work it takes to pull it off. So I'm really excited that we've launched our first. The first discussion that we've had this morning was actually very interesting. It was a fintech startup, and we covered a lot of angles. Actually, this went even beyond tech and product.
Yeah. It's a big challenge. There's a lot of you could spend all day doing that. There's a lot of things to unpick and help them work through, which is where we come in, isn't it? Really. So mentoring to me is helping someone to think through their challenges and probably surface some of their challenges they don't even know they've got yet, in a business context, that is, and then helping them to work through that. And I think that as a mentor, what you get out of that is you see people grow. But yeah, it's about getting those people.
Yeah, I think for me it's very fulfilling, and it's quite rewarding to have a chance to give back. I know when I started my business, there were lots of people who helped me and were there to answer all the really dumb questions that I had, that I thought there's probably a really obvious answer to these. A lot of times there was, sometimes there actually wasn't, and they were, these are things that everybody struggles with but nobody talks about. So it's nice to be able to pay that forward, and to use the experience that we've all gained in the industry. And again, I think just meeting founders is always really inspiring, given their passion, but sometimes being able to highlight issues maybe that they haven't considered and help them kind of shift their thinking a little bit, just to make sure they're not making errors that we might have seen in the past, can be very helpful as well.
Helping someone find their way and just being that friend on the side, when they need some support, whether it's emotional, whether it's advice. But for me, it's really important to also kind of give them the space, and recognize that they are also experts in their own right. And what we kind of just bring an additional spice in the recipe of them building their company. So sometimes when you work and you have a lot of issues and problems, you can get lost in the details, or you can get lost in the feeling of helplessness or hopelessness. And having a mentor helps you to try to see different angles, ask you different questions, get you to have a sounding board, and that can really help you get unlocked. And of course, as a mentor myself, I do love that because it helps me to also make myself accountable, to grow and learn, and just being inspired by what the mentees are doing.
We all have loads of ideas. Generally, people have ideas. How many times have you been walking down the street and you've seen something and you've gone, "Oh, I had that idea. I wish I'd done it." Yeah. And you get to a point where you're not actioning them. So it's basically just getting out there, trying stuff out, finding the quickest way that you can test to see if that idea is going to be commercially viable. Talk to people about it, and obviously joining a mentor group can help with that. So you've got people within within the group that can offer advice. You can hear people that have been through that process, and also like learn the lessons from how people have not done it correctly, perhaps, and don't fall into those traps. So really joining that mentor group helps you think through things, and also empowers you because you're backed up by like-minded people that can help encourage you to succeed.
Execution. Actually, are you going to go out and try things? And I think before you start trying, the most important things is just talk to people. I know there can be a fear, like if you tell people about your idea, somebody's going to try and steal your idea. But I think from what James said, even the people that like it, if they think, oh, that's a good idea, they're probably not going to do it. So I think going out, talking to people, and initially and at every stage, people are not going to get it, and they're going to say they're not going to understand it, which helps you refine it, helps you understand what the potential criticisms or the potential concerns might be, think that the challenges that you need to overcome, and just having those conversations, even with friends and family at first, or anyone you think could be a potential user. Somebody might come back and offer a new way of approaching it. Somebody might give you a nice phrase that you can use, that you can then adopt when you pitch it the next time, and you can just refine from there. And in time as well, if you go out and you network, you use mentor networks, you use go to the right kind of events where you can talk to people, then you will get those connections where maybe you can find someone who can help with the execution phase, who can help you build the product, who can help you test the market, in order to have a bit more of that validation to take the idea forward. But I think the first step has to be just go out and verbally test it with people.
That we are providing gives you the opportunity to actually test your ideas with experts, so that's brilliant. There are a lot of pitch events out there. Even if you are not pitching, I will highly recommend that you find this kind of startups-based event, listen to their pitch, listen to the kind of question that they ask them, because one day you will be on the stage and you will be better prepared. And at the same time, in the room, you will find other techpreneurs that can also help you. The second advice that I will add is, again, MVP. And I know that minimum viable product, if you ask someone, every single person has a different definition of what it is. So we definitely want to help sort that out. But one key thing is, what is the minimum you can do to get people signing up and trying your ideas? Even if it's a spreadsheet, it's better than trying to think that you have to build a platform first. So that will be my advice for future founders, especially those with a technical background. Hold off coding and try to think about how can you do it even smaller and quicker. 30 minutes or because we did about 40 minutes, but is that enough to actually dedicate time and really help make a difference in the startup? And I felt like this was kind of, we covered a lot of topics from investors, what they're looking for, pitch deck, what is an MVP, whether product to launch, what they need to prioritize. We talked about their teams as well, and there were some ideas on how they are restructuring. And I think we even talked about how they can establish themselves in different countries so that they can attract investors based on that country as well. So I think, again, as the Gen Zs have already said, it's really exciting for me to be able to offer those opportunities and working with them, and also just starting my morning with so much inspiration and people who are out there doing crazy stuff, but for the greater